Astral. So in this episode, we are going to work on a munitions factory. So we're going to set up some stuff to make some autocannon cartridges and some machine gun rounds. And hopefully we're going to get some of this section over here done. I'm not sure that we'll finish the entire thing, but we'll get what we can done at the very least. However, before we do any of that, we're actually going to make a mechanical arm. Now, I know they're in here somewhere. Here they are. We're going to need some brass, mechanical casings, and some brass casings. So we should have all of those. Have more precision mechanisms. I should have some more brass casings in here. I have exactly one. Okay, fair enough. I think we need 3 sheets of brass, so let's go get a couple more brass ingots. And I will press all of these. The villagers are being noisy as per usual. Missed. And we're going to need an alloy, which I do actually have. Okay. So we're going to make ourselves a mechanical arm. And what we're using this for will be obvious. Well, I don't know if obvious is the right word, but it will become apparent eventually. So we have this. This is kind of a cool thing. I've never used one of these before, but they are really, really cool looking. We get a depot, and we get some random stuff. We get some copycat blocks, which I've never used. We get 7 of them. Might be useful. I don't know. But next, we're going to need a spout, which I believe is just these 2 things. We're going to need a pump, of which we have plenty. Take some extra fluid pipes just in case. And I think we might want to bring a hand crank with us as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the munitions factory. And there's actually one more thing that I almost forgot to grab. Though it's not as important for this first step, but it's going to be a bunch of fluid tanks. So I showed off the munitions factory in the last episode. I have since finished it, I think. Outside of all the interior stuff. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Took me a little bit of time to figure out what I wanted the roof to look like. I do wonder, and I don't want to fix it at this point, but I do wonder if the roof is a little bit too dark. But it's got an interior, it's got some lighting, it's got some space for the next things that we're going to do. And we're going to take our elevator down to the main floor. It's still very slow, so we're going to skip past this. So we've arrived down here in the basement of our munitions factory where we have this lava generator. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a depot here. We're going to need a spout above the depot. Which probably means I'm going to need a couple more pipes up like this, one like this. I think this just goes here, yeah. But I suppose we're going to need a pump, so let's put a pump here. Does this work the way I think it should? Yes, good. And we're going to put a bucket here. And we're going to pump out a thing of lava. Now, for the time being, because there is no power here, we are just going to hand crank this to get this rolling. So, might have to climb up here. Get this over here. We're going to pump this round and round and round. And hopefully this should get a bucket of lava. Good. Okay. So you got 1 bucket of lava. We have another full bucket in there. And I assume that there's more in the pipes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our mechanical arm, which is also going to need power. I think what we do is we... How do we do this? I think I'm going to put another depot here. We're going to need a collection system to deposit those buckets, but what we're going to do is we're going to have mechanical arms do that. I think we right click each of these, or shift click I should say. And then I think we also do the same thing like so, I think. And then this just goes here. We got a bunch of achievements for that. Let's take a couple more of these. Just connect them up like this. And I think if we rotate this, our arm will go grab a bucket, it will rotate it, and put it into a blaze burner. Then it will put that other bucket there. That is fantastic. Okay, this is exactly what we needed it to do. I'm amazed that this worked first time. The next thing that we're going to just need to do is make some sort of system that's going to collect things from here and spit them out back there again. I don't think that will be that hard to do. I also don't think I have the equipment to do that. But this is the idea so far. So we'll cut once I get back to this. Alright, so all I've done is I've put a chest here. I need to put a thing here, which should hopefully output chests, and then I just have to switch this around. That should get piped into there. And right now, nothing is actually being powered, which is fine because we've only got the steam engine here. And I do fully expect to have to start this by hand. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our fluid tanks. I'm going to take damage from standing on this dude. And we're going to place these on top, like so. And I think I can only do 2 for now, but that should be fine. The next thing that we're going to need is we're going to need some water, because we're going to have to pump some water in here. I think if we just remove this, then we should be able to put some of these things in here. Let's make this look a little bit nicer. Do I have anything else that looks nice? Not particularly, but we'll come back to that. I'm going to need some water, which we can get from over here. Just need to grab a bucket. We might have to sit down and break a little bit of kelp, but that should be fine. Let's grab 1, 2 buckets of water, and then we can put these in here. So we go 1 and 2. Then we'll have pipe coming up from here like so. And this just goes into our tank like so. Now I'm going to need another pump, which I don't currently have. I think to power this is going to be real messy, but that's okay. We're just going to have some cogs going across like so, which would make this spot where we're going to put our water pump. Now, I think that should be all basically set to go. But we do also need to build some steam turbines, like the actual steam engine. So I'm going to go and make some of those. We're going to go back to the main factory, get the other bits that we still need, and then we'll come back. Alright, so to build our steam engines, there's actually an entire quest in here, and I'm kind of wondering if this is going to lead into something else. We need to build 9 of these, we need some gold sheets, and we need some copper blocks. The copper blocks are kind of interesting, because we don't usually use entire blocks, but I guess we're going to need to go to our copper machine. It's probably full anyway, so it's just as well. It's actually not, that's amazing. Let's go stick these together. Is this enough? This should be enough. No, this will only give us 7 blocks. Let's go get another thing of copper. It's fine if we just take an entire stack, because we're actually going to be pressing down some of this copper in a bit. So let's take this, do that. I'm just going to do all of these, because why not? And then we're also going to need some gold. I got some ochrum, I guess it is, from making the munitions factory. I guess I could continue mining it, because you can see we got an insane amount of gold here. But I think we'll just leave it as that for now. So let's wait for this to smash up 5 of these, and then we can keep going. I say 5, 9 of these. There we go. And then we'll just chuck the rest of these on to smash in the background. And we have our andesite. So this, I think, is all we need to make a steam engine. Excellent. Operate a boiler, young wolf. And we get some stuff, and we get just some nuggets of experience, which is fine, I guess. It's not the most exciting thing. I'm curious, did that unlock a new area? No. Okay. I totally thought that was going to unlock some sort of new chapter thing in here. It does not seem to have. That's fine, though. Let's head back. I got the pump as well. Good. Let's head back to the steam engine. Okay, so we got our steam engines. I also went ahead and just made some more fluid tanks just to make this a little bit bigger, like so. And I think, I'm not exactly sure how steam engines work, but I think if we just stick one to the side here, and then do I need to put a shaft like this? Not entirely sure. Maybe we should ponder this. Perhaps that would be helpful. So we stick it on the side, place it on a fuel tank. It looks like we just right-click it. Maybe I have to do that up here. I have to do it like that. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this thing is now doing a thing. It does not have enough water right now. But we can put water into it. Somewhat irritatingly, this is facing the wrong direction. But that's fine. I think I could just also put one on the side like this. Like that. And then I take that off. This is now powering all of this, which is good. Let's put our fluid pipe up here. Might get rid of these scaffolds. They were supposed to give the idea that they're holding this up, but maybe that's not the best choice right now. And it doesn't have enough heat, it doesn't have enough water. But I suspect if I hand crank this, that should hopefully start to fix some of this. Oh, I cannot do that, it's overstressed. Okay, that's fine. Let's do that. Let's take our hand crank. Can I stick it on underneath here? No. Okay. I guess we're gonna have to do this the slow way. That's fine. So let's start by just getting some water into here. Oh, and it's already started doing stuff. Okay. Ah, but not enough water. And I suspect that is because we're going to need to do this for a bit to get enough water in there. And then if I grab some pipes, 1, 2, nope, not fast enough. Okay, well, let's keep going. This does apparently use a whole lot of water. And then let's get a thing, and there we go, okay. And now this thing is slowly powering all the blazes. It's not fully up to steam yet, but that's okay. It has a ridiculous amount of capacity, which is cool. The water is still getting pumped in there. I actually wonder if we need another one of these. Which might not be a bad idea. So let's go ahead and do another one of these. Can I just make a pump? Yes, okay, good. I was going to say, I don't want to go and get another one. It does kind of seem to be lacking... Oops. Oh no, I've done this wrong. Uh-oh. It's going to slow down, and then it's going to stop again. Okay, that's fine. Let's just go and grab some more of this. Let's put this kelp back so it grows. Let's just grab a bunch of water. 1, 3. Okay. I did unfortunately break this. There we go. Let's put that in. Let's find our wrench. Have to do the same thing where we do this first. Power this up. I should really have a cob ready to go. And then put this there. Okay, good. Now, we can do the same thing here. Let's put a pipe in here, like so. Fluid pump goes there. Let's turn this around. And then this can also just pump into the fluid tank. We'll make this clear just so we can see it. Some more cogs. Why did they stick that way? Let's stick some more cogs like... Seriously? Like so. And now we have all the water we need. It heats up to speed, the size is up to speed. The only thing that we need to hope is that this thing continues doing its thing. And hopefully the arm reaches this backside. Oh, it does seem to be stuck though. Okay, so let's grab that real quick. Can I... How do I do this? It should only be deploying things into the stuff that it can reach. Let's put this in here because it is working for now. It's doing its thing. It is hot enough. I think the issue though is it's not getting time to spout into there. So we'll have to figure that out. Give me a sec. Alright, well, I couldn't figure out how to get that to work the way I wanted it to. So I took the arm out. I thought maybe I had to reset something on there. That didn't work. And now it's just sitting there. So hopefully it'll be fine, and hopefully this won't turn off. What we're going to do next, though, is we are going to stick an alternator on here somewhere. So probably about here. That's going to charge up with electricity. And then we're going to stick a connector on it. And then we are going to run that. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of these supports. We'll figure out a different way to do that. This is on fire. That's fine, I guess. But we are going to take our farm over here of dried kelp, and we are going to get it so that it turns all of this into gunpowder. So I think the best way to do that, if it gets funneled out of here into a depot, maybe it goes into here, we put a connector in the back here, like so, and then we take copper wire and connect it like that. Now this thing should have power. And we take some dried kelp, we stick it into here. And that is doing that. Good. Cool. So that is now making us gunpowder. We now have a way to automate that. We'll have to link up a couple more things. I also wonder if I can get this to go straight up through there. Using a fan or something. But the next part then would be to get power from our steam engine. And, oh, I've fallen through there. Apparently you can't stand on that. That has a hitbox? I don't know. But the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to run some power from here up through the floor. which appears to be there, and into our next machines. So I'm going to take the elevator back up, and then I'll see you up there. Alright, so the next thing to do is to make our various machines. So I think the way we're going to need to do this, we're going to take a couple of mechanical saws. I don't think I need 4 of these, do I? I don't think so. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our machine gun rounds. To make the machine gun rounds, we need to make some empty machine gun round casings, which is just autocannon sheets sawed twice, so we're going to saw them twice, I guess. We'll put a saw here. Let's rotate this around like so, and then like that. Let's stick another one there. I'll have to rotate this one as well. There we go. Oh, I really could have done with another gear there. Then we need to, I think, deploy twice, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we're going to need some gunpowder and copper nuggets, which then get deployed into there, like so. And then we can just do tracer tips by itself if we want. So let's run a belt, which I should have in here. Let's go from here to, I need another shaft over here, to here. No, can I not go there? Do I maybe need to do that afterwards? So I've definitely done this before. Have I done this before? Or do they need to be separate things? I'm not totally sure. Uh-oh, that's not good. This thing has both run out of water and heat because this thing has stopped working. Alright, we'll come back to this later. So I think I got this working properly now. I also went and just got some more supplies because I realized, oh, hang on, I just probably don't have enough things. Which is fine. So we're going to, once again, try this. We're going to put our saw actually on this side. And I think, just so that's easier to get through here, let's do that. That way these things are both spinning. I don't think it matters that they're spinning opposite directions. But we're going to grab one of these. We're going to grab our belt, which I might have put in the backpack. Yes, I sure did. Which, there we go. That's going to go here. That's going to go like so. And I think I'm actually going to need another belt, which I have in here. And we're going to connect this to here. Is there anything left in here? There are 2 deployers. Let's remove this. And for now, we can just put some scaffolding here. And then stick our chest on top. We're also going to need a chest over here, which again can just be some scaffolding. We're going to put a funnel on this side, funnel on this side. And will this turn the right way? No, I was afraid that might happen. Let's do the same thing, yeah. Okay. How do I want to do this then? Do I have any more gearboxes? Yes, I could also just use an encased chain drive like so. And then stick shaft like this. Okay, good. Then we need our 2 deployers, which are here. We're going to put one here, one here. And I think if we... I think this works. Does this work? No, I guess not. I was hoping that would work. Okay, that's fine. What if... this is gonna get kind of messy looking, but that's fine. Put thing there, thing there, thing there, thing there. Then these are both deploying at speed. And I think this machine is pretty much ready to go. We just need to go get the supplies to get this running. So I'm going to go do that, and then we're going to see if we can make our first machine gun rounds. Okay, so I think I got all the things we need. Just need to remember what order to put these in. We're going to need gunpowder, then copper. So we're going to put the gunpowder in here, the copper in here, and then we're just going to take one copper sheet and we're going to put it in here. Well, let's see what this turns into. It just like immediately exploded. But it is actually making the things that we need. Okay, that's a plus. That was really fast. So I think if we set this to be machine gun rounds, we set these to be cartridges. Then when we stick these on here, it goes bump bump and makes machine gun round. Okay. So then if I put these on here, they do kind of go a little bit weird. Oh, okay, the direction on this does actually matter. Fair enough, okay. That's why this is acting weirdly. Let's go ahead and chuck these onto here. Let's grab the rest of these. Because it just kind of goes back and forth, and then I do know how to fix this. We have 8 rounds so far. Let's actually get rid of all of these. This might actually help with this horrendous gear stuff that we've got going on. Let's put chain drives like this. Although they are turning the wrong direction currently. If I put a stressometer, is it going to still be turning the wrong way? Yes, okay. So let's remove that. Let's put this here. Let's put a gearbox here. So it changes the direction of these. And we seem to have lost a round somewhere. It does mean that we completed that task, which is fine. And then we need to get this up to here. So let's put... oh, what's the best way to do this? Since this is already moving, let's just put some cogs up. I guess this is going to look the same as it did, but that's fine. So now these saws should be going the right direction. If I toss that one up there, it goes that way for some reason, which is confusing to me. What happens if I put just another piece of copper in here? Really doesn't like that, huh? I'm not sure why. Also, I'm about to die if I step on that saw one more time. Maybe I just have to space these out a little bit. That's a possibility. Well, we'll figure that out in a sec. We got our machine gun rounds. I think we still got our potato cannon in our backpack, which is somewhere in here. Yes, so let's just try this with the machine gun rounds and see what it actually does. Let's go find an enemy to shoot at. Shouldn't be too hard to find. In this general area, there's a zombie. I mean, I guess it technically works. If we do that compared to... yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's the most effective thing. Although it does launch a lot farther than just normal bullets, it seems. So I guess that's a plus. But I'm not sure that the machine gun rounds are all that important. Let's next work on autocannon rounds, because that sounds like fun as well. So now that we have our machine gun rounds ready to go, it's time to make some autocannon rounds. So the first thing that we're actually going to need to do is we're going to need to make some cast iron. To do that, we are going to need 2 compact andesite iron billet. To make this, we're going to have to mix iron, andesite, and coal. Now, I should have lots of coal in here. I should have lots of iron in here. And I have a stack of andesite already. We don't need to heat this, so we're just going to chuck all of this in. 1, 2, 3. And this should start making andesite iron billet. It looks like it makes quite a bit for just a little bit of resources, so that's not too bad. So we'll let this mix in the meantime, and we're going to go work on the factory part. So back in the factory, I rearranged this so that it works a little bit better. This does go through copper and gunpowder really quickly, but as you can see, we already have a stack of machine gun rounds. As for the other thing, the beginning of this is going to be fairly similar, in that we're going to need to... we're probably going to need to take that out. We're going to be sawing plates so that we get those same... what are these things called? Autocannon cartridge sheets. So we're going to take this out for now. We're going to stick this in here, and hopefully... I think this is already spinning the wrong way. But I guess we'll find out. And we're going to connect these up like this. And I think, to connect these, let's just run this along here. Then we need a chest, which I believe I have in this chest. I'm going to put it there. We're going to take an andesite funnel, stick it here. And just to make sure this is going the right way, let's put one of these on here. And sure enough, it just sliced it clean in two, just as we needed. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to rotate this way. We're going to put this here. And I think to connect these, we'll just do that. Nope, that's definitely going the wrong way, so we don't want to do it that way. What if we put a gearbox in between? I have exactly one gearbox. There we go. That's going the right way. And we're going to need a belt, which I apparently don't have enough of. I'll go grab one real quick. Okay, so we're going to take our belt, we're going to attach it like so. And then here, we're actually going to put another chest. And the reason for this is I can't be bothered to make 8 pressy machines, of which we should have one in here. We're going to plonk this down like so. And then we do have to power this. I'm trying to think of what the best way to do this is going to be. We can't stick a gear here because that will just immediately break. Same thing if we try to put a shaft there. Our cog is trying to go that way. I guess it's just going to have to be cog here, cog here, cog here. And then we're going to put a thing here. That should get smashed 6 times. And then we have one empty cartridge shell. So now we're going to take a brass funnel. We're going to stick it here. We're going to set a filter so that only these things go inside of it. So if I throw this on here, it should go into this chest. Perfect. And then we can throw the rest of these onto here as well. And has that not worked? Why has that not worked? We might have to figure that one out. Is it because this thing is in the way? I don't feel it should be because it's doing that. Well, let's finish this one up. And then it goes in. Interesting. So we'll have to come back and figure that part out. But this first setup is pretty good, I think. We'll just have to figure out how do we get this to do the thing we need it to do. Alright, so I seem to have fixed that problem. I just put a depot here instead, and now it consistently does that. It also makes it a little bit easier to get over to here. We do have this gearbox in the way, but there's nothing we can really do about that. So if we chuck the other two of these on here, it should do the same thing. It'd be cool if we could speed this up even faster, so it just absolutely bashes the crap out of this thing. I don't think that's going to happen. I did just realize I put away... No, I didn't. Okay, cool. I still have the andesite tunnel. I should probably get another one so that we can export from there. But now if I put a copper sheet in here, it gets sliced up. And it goes ahead and just pounds these into oblivion. Fantastic. So the next step, we're going to need another one of these. I think this is going to need to be at least this long, based on previous experience. Then we're going to have this, and then we should have another chest that goes here. This is where all those are going to actually be stored. Need another belt, connect it like so. And then in this chest, the last couple things in here should be a couple deployers. Have one here and one here. And I think, honestly, to connect these, we just do a little bit of this. Connect all of these together. So now, once we get the other materials we need, we should just need to put them in here. Now, I think to do so, we do need full gunpowder instead of just a pinch of gunpowder, so this is going to go in here. And this is where our ammunition heads are going to go, but we need to go back into our main factory to do that. So the next thing that we're going to need to make our ammunition, we're going to need some cast iron ingots. Now, I actually have some already because I accidentally made a bunch of them. But the way that we actually do this is we just need to put in some iron, which I thought I had somewhere. Did I stick it in here? Did I stick it in here? Stick it in here. And all we're really going to do is we're going to heat up our blaze burner. And then we're going to chuck these in here, and it should, I thought, start mashing these up. Is that not how we make this? No, we actually need to put the andesite billets in. Okay, fair enough. So let's take about half a stack and chuck those in there. And this should now be turned into cast iron. Excellent. And just to show you what we do with these, I think all we do is we take one of these, and we take one of these, and then we get 4 armor-piercing autocannon rounds. So that's kind of what we're doing. So we're going to let the rest of these smelt up so that we have enough, and then we'll head back and actually make some finished ammunition. So we're back here again. I got some copper nuggets that have just been floating around to put into here for a while. But all we need to do, we put gunpowder in here. We're going to put our armor-piercing rounds in here. And then I think all we need to do is put an andesite funnel here. Oh, and we need to power this this belt, of course. Which way is this turning? It is turning the wrong way for what we want. So let's just take a shaft and connect these two, I think. Because then this should be going the right way. Goes 1, 2, cool. And this is making armor-piercing rounds. Let's go ahead and make a few more of these. Let's put our copper sheets in here. And this should make a good amount. We also have these empty autocannon rounds, which we can just stick into there. We seem to have run out of pinches of gunpowder again. Like I said, this thing goes through materials ridiculously quickly, but also look how quickly it's making ammunition. This is not nearly as fast. This seems to have stopped for some reason that I'm not entirely clear on. You have no idea why that stopped. Can only do one at a time, and then it gets confused I think that might be the issue here. Well, I think we'll just have to be careful with monitoring how this one works then. Because now it seems to be doing just fine. Kind of handy if we could set a depot to only do something. Either way, this seems to be working now. We're just going to queue up the rest of these. And the rest of these should be okay. But we have 10 autocannon rounds. So let's go ahead and take these. We've completed this quest. My inventory is full of partially made rounds, but that's okay. And let's go ahead and look at our thing. We apparently completed this as well. We get some TNT for it. And we get some random stuff, which I'm not going to take right now. Because I still have way too much stuff in here. So let's just do that, and let's do that, and let's do that. And let's do that. Ow. I forgot about the saw. Okay, now that we actually have some space in our inventory, let's complete this. We get some rose quartz, which I'm actually not at all sad about, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to make. We get a lot of it as well. And yeah, so I think, realistically, that's probably going to do it for this episode. We didn't quite get into this whole area here, but we'll do that in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to hit like and subscribe. That always helps out. And I just saw a creeper outside, so actually, before we go, let's go test this out. Let's go see how effective it is against a creeper. Let's put anything else that might be used away, so that we just have these. Alright, let's go give this a go. Let's see what this does. I hope this doesn't, like, explode. I think there's actually a high probability that this will cause an explosion. So let's kite this guy a little bit. Somewhere a little bit safer. Let's go away from the train tracks. Come this way. And right about... Well... Okay, that didn't quite work. So just to test these out, I found a spider in this cave over here. Oh, and it does make an explosion. That very much one-shot that guy. That's kind of insane. Let's just fire off another one, see what it does. Doesn't look like it's got the greatest range. But either way, that's kind of incredible. Let's just do one last thing. Let's do a ranged test, see how far I can get this to go. Yeah, so it's not super long range, but it seems to one-shot things, so that's pretty impressive. Alright, we'll call it there. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.